Hello everybody, Mr. Rat here. Welcome to the sewers once again. We're going to be going through some of our archive footage donated by our lovely clanmate Mr. Pugg. And going through this footage, it's going to be like a documentary of sorts. So I've always wanted to do one of them, but what I'm hoping to do is, whilst we're watching this footage together, is for me to point out things that may be of use to you, if you're trying to learn the ropes, or as like a clanmate and that, then you can pick up on some of the lovely little secrets of Nosferatu. So hopefully you're going to enjoy it. I won't waste too much of your time, so let's get on with it, yeah! Wait. Before we do go ahead with all this, I've got one thing I've got to ask. So, this thing that I'm doing, it's got to, build up and, get bigger. So, if you want to help grow this channel, then, and see, more of me, then if you can hit the subscribe button, which I believe's, over here somewhere, and then the little bell symbol, because that means that every time I, make a video, you guys get to see it. So, that's cool. So, anyway, right. You don't want to do all this shit, you want to get on with it. So, anyway, right, let's go.
Show you something.
Right, now Mr. Pugg or his size got a very messy room. That is even the Nosferatu standards, that's a bit on that. Oh, and she's dressed him up in a gimp suit. That's just offensive.
Good evening. My fellow kindred, my apologies for disrupting any business or interfering with prior engagements you may have had this evening. It's unfortunate that the affair that gathers us together tonight is a troubling one. We are here because the laws that bind our society, the laws that are the fabric of our existence, have been broken. As Prince, I am within my rights to grant or deny the kindred of this city the privilege of siring. Many of you have come to me seeking permission, and I have endorsed some of these requests. However, the accused that sits before you tonight was not refused permission.
Right,
Indeed,
I've got to say,
my permission
the
was never
sheriff's got
sought at
tiny
all.
little dinosaur arms, hasn't he?
They were caught shortly after
That's
the embrace
embarrassing.
of this child. It pains me to announce the sentence, as, up to tonight, I considered the accused a loyal and upstanding member of our organization. But as some of you may know, the penalty for this transgression is death. Know that I am no more adjudicator than I am a servant to the law that governs us all. Let tonight's proceedings serve as a reminder to our community that we must adhere to the code that binds our society, lest we endanger all of our blood. Forgive me. Let the penalty commence.
That's why the sheriff's got a big sword, because you need little arms holding it.
Which leads to the fate of the ill-begotten
It'd be nice to
progeny.
see the death of a fellow.
Without a sire, most childer are doomed to walk the earth never knowing their place, their responsibility, and most importantly, the laws they must obey. Therefore, I have decided that...
This is bullshit!
Yeah. You can always count on a brew after spicing things up. Never boring when they're around.
All I'm saying is that he better not do it.
If Mr. Rodriguez would let me finish, I have decided to let this kindred live. They shall be instructed in the ways of our kind and be granted the same rights. Let no one say I am unsympathetic to the plights and causes of this community. I thank you all for attending these proceedings, and I hope their significance is not lost. Good evening.
Right. So far we've had a bit of a rough start to our Mr. Pugg's new life. He's kind of fucked. So what just happened there was like, he's the prince, which means he was blabbering about the traditions. Right, there's 6 of them. You've got Masquerade, which is the one that kind of fucks me over, which is you cannot like show ourselves to other people and like give away the game that vampires exist. So as you can see, that's a bit of a troublesome for like me and Mr. Pugg. But anyway, and this is normally a tradition that's going to get yourself killed as well, because princes and other kindred are like real strict on it because of the whole like First Inquisition thing that happened where like loads of kindred were killed and stuff. So anyway, Masquerade, number 1. Number 2 is you got, I've got to look at that a minute. It's domain. Of course I know it. I'm not looking at notes. It's domain. Now domain, right, is you're either granted it by your prince, or you know your clan kind of takes it, and what it is, it's your territory. So you're kind of in charge of it. You've got to look after it, patrol it, protect it, all of that, and make sure that nobody else is fucking around on it and all that stuff. So like normally. When I say normally, all the time, like the Nosferatu are always granted domain of the sewers, you know? So if a prince goes and grants that to some other clan, it's a little bit of a, oh really mate, right, okay, yeah, good start there, you're going to be prince long, fucking knobhead. So domain, important. And then you've got, not looking at my notes, I'm just looking up my shoelace to see if it's done up, is progeny, yeah. So progeny is what the Pugg side just got killed for. So basically, you've got to ask permission before you go make another kindred, because if there was like loads of kindred out there, then we'd more than likely break Masquerade. So there's like got to be this line of how many there are and blah blah blah. So you've always got to ask permission before you go making yourself some childer. Childer is the word we use for, you know, like kids when you know, not that, the blood, you know, that. Right, what else is there? Right, then accounting, right? Accountability is what that one's all about. So you've got to be accountable for your actions and the actions of your childer until they are released. Released is where basically your childer has got to a point where they've been able to prove themselves and be like, hello everybody, I am an official vampire and I know my shit. And then the prince is like, yes, you are fit to be released into our society. At that point, the sire can go, thank fuck for that. Right, but up until that point, if the child fucks up, the sire fucks up. So accountability, you've got to be held accountable for your actions and that of your kids. So after that, you got hospitality. Now, hospitality is like respecting other people's domains and they respect yours. So, you know, like, don't take the piss, don't go, you know, like if someone's got some really nice artwork or stuff, don't go over and nick it or rob it or rip it apart and stuff like that. If you're a guest in there like gaff and stuff, because that's really naughty and stuff. So hospitality is another one. And then the last one is distraction. Right, you may have already noticed that there's already been a death, but that's all right because that's the prince and he has the right of distraction over other kindred in his domain. He can also grant that right to other kindred if he so wishes, and sometimes he does something called like a blood hunt where they're like, you know, like, oh, you've been a real dick. And he goes, everybody, listen, they've been a dick, I declare a blood hunt, and it's like a big game of kiss chase, except for when you get them, you give them like an eternal kiss, which normally involves them, you know, getting their soul sucked out. Some princes like that, some don't, you know, I'm just saying it is a possibility. Most of the time it just involves the person who's being hunted being killed. So that's it. So those are your 6 traditions. Prince did just say that a minute ago because, as you say, it takes a bit of a while to say it all, and I suspect he would have lost the crowd, although he did a bit because that Rodriguez guy was a bit, you know, like, yeah. So anyway, really lucky Pug's still alive. I thought he was going to die, he didn't. All good. Right, carry on with the thing.
Your sire. Tragic. My apologies. But you see, there is a strict code of conduct that all of us must...
Personal apology from the prince and a private audience with the prince on his first night of being a kindred.
When someone...
Pugg is a very lucky person.
They undermine the well-worn fabric of our centuries-old society. Understand
very fact.
predicament. Allowing you to live makes me directly responsible for your subsequent behavior. So, what I'm offering is not generosity, but the opportunity to transcend the fate woven by your sire. This is your trial. You will be brought to Santa Monica. There you will meet an agent by the name of Mercurio. He will provide the details of your labor.
I know it might be rude of me,
I've
but
shown you great
even the prince is
clemency.
very small.
Prove it was
or
more
that
than a
door's
wasted
very
gesture,
big.
fledgling. Don't come back until you do. Good evening.